So, here's a question for you. How does a company that just sells fancy yoga pants not only make it, but completely dominate an industry that is famous for chewing up brands and spitting them out? I mean, in a world of cutthroat competition and razor-thin margins, Lululemon didn't just survive, it became a Wall Street legend. Let's dig into how on earth they pulled that off.
You know, to really get Lululemon's secret sauce, you first have to understand what it's not. Most clothing brands, they live in this frantic world of chasing the latest trend, slashing prices, and just fighting for scraps. Lululemon, they played a totally different game. We're talking premium pricing, crazy customer loyalty, and this brand moat so deep and wide that competitors just couldn't get close. They weren't just using the old playbook, they were writing a completely new one.
So how did this retail anomaly even get started? Well, it all began with a very specific problem that, believe it or not, almost nobody else was taking seriously.
Okay, let's go back to 1998, Vancouver. Founder Chip Wilson kicks things off, but right from day one, this was never just another clothing store. No way. It was built to be a community hub, and it even had its own yoga studio inside. That community-first idea that was baked into its DNA. So you can imagine, when Lululemon decided to go public in 2007, Wall Street was, well, they were scratching their heads. They saw yoga as some niche fad and thought apparel was just a terrible bet. Turns out, they could not have been more wrong.
The core idea was actually pretty simple, but it was so powerful. See, the vision wasn't just to sell clothes. It was to solve a real, nagging problem. Back then, yoga clothes were just an afterthought. Generic, baggy stuff, not really made for the practice. Lululemon obsessed over creating something technically better. High quality, form-fitting, and literally engineered for performance. That intense focus on a real customer pain point, that was the foundation for everything that came next.
But hey, a great product is only half the story, right? Solving a problem gets your foot in the door, but creating a cult-like following, well, that's what makes you a legend. And the way Lululemon did it was completely unconventional.
Just forget about traditional ads. Lululemon built its brand from the ground up, starting right at the local level. They turned yoga instructors into their very first brand ambassadors and made their stores these hubs for experiences. Honestly, their best marketing was just a product so good that people became walking, talking billboards for it. It was authentic, it was grassroots, and it was way more powerful than any TV commercial.
And the result of all this was just profound. People weren't just buying the clothes, they were identifying with the brand. It became a symbol for a whole lifestyle, fitness, wellness, self-improvement. And that deep emotional connection is exactly what gave them insane pricing power and a customer base that would stick around through anything.
But then came the anything. That rocket ship of a brand was about to fly straight into some serious turbulence. Every great company gets tested, and Lululemon's test? It was a brutal one.
The year is 2013, and the brand that could do no wrong suddenly starts to show some cracks. It found itself facing a whole series of self-inflicted wounds that honestly threatened to tear down everything they had built.
It was a total perfect storm. First, a huge recall because of quality issues with their famous yoga pants, not a good look. Then, some really controversial comments from the founder sparked a massive public backlash. And to top it all off, the company's leadership was completely unstable. It was a crisis of confidence from the inside out.
And the hit to investor confidence was immediate and just vicious. You can see it right here. The market absolutely hammered the stock, and the whole story about the company changed overnight. The big question on everyone's mind was, is the magic gone? Was this whole thing just a fad after all? For a lot of people, it really looked like the end of the line. But it wasn't the end, not even close. It was actually the beginning of one of the most incredible turnarounds in retail history. This is where the company grew up, moving from a quirky founder-led startup to a professional global powerhouse.
The new leadership came in with a brilliant three-step plan. Step 1, they went right back to basics, completely fixing the supply chain and quality control. Step 2, they brought in professional, experienced management. And Step 3, they shifted the entire company's focus away from just short-term wins and onto the long-term health of the brand. They knew they had to fix the foundation before they could even think about building higher.
So did the new strategy work? Oh yeah, it worked. Just look at the insane growth in men's apparel. They took their core identity of performance and lifestyle and so carefully extended it to a new audience. And in doing so, they unlocked a massive new market. This proved, once and for all, that the brand was so much bigger than just women's yoga pants.
And you know, this disciplined focus is exactly what let Lululemon go toe-to-toe with giants like Nike and Adidas. While the big guys were chasing every single trend and selling through partners, Lululemon kept tight control over its brand, focused on doing just a few things exceptionally well, and sold directly to their fans. That discipline, it gave them better profits and a much, much stronger connection to their customers.
So after that wild ride from near-death to global dominance, what can we actually learn from this retail legend? Well, there are some really powerful lessons here.
Lesson number 1. A truly great brand is a fortress. It builds a kind of loyalty and pricing power that you just can't see on a spreadsheet. It's that invisible asset that makes a company tough as nails.
Second, don't ever think that premium pricing is a weakness. In a world that is obsessed with discounts, Lululemon proved that charging more can actually be a sign of strength. It signals quality, it signals confidence, and it reinforces the very brand you're trying to build.
Okay, lesson number 3 is absolutely crucial, especially for investors. That 2013 crisis was terrifying, no doubt. But for anyone who truly believed in the long-term power of the brand, it was an unbelievable buying opportunity. Great companies aren't defined by avoiding problems, they're defined by how they overcome them.
And finally, at the very heart of it all, Lululemon's success comes down to one thing: a complete obsession with their customer. They understood their community's needs, their wants, their dreams better than anyone else. And that's a lesson that goes way beyond just selling clothes.
In the end, this story isn't really just about athletic wear, is it? It's a masterclass in how to build a brand, how to be resilient, and the incredible power of playing the long game. It teaches us to look for that deep, authentic connection between a company and its people, which leaves us with one final thought. What great brand, maybe hiding in plain sight, is everybody underestimating right now?